لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين ما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We're in the month of Ramadan, so Ramadan Kareem to every single one of you. I hope you have a prosperous Ramadan full of, good deeds, ibadat, adhkar, and attending your Taraweeh prayers. And it's always a blessing to have Ramadan amongst us, the guests, the noble guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the video will be slightly different from our usual playlists, and I don't really want to get into that as it's the noble month of Ramadan. That can be saved for another day. The purpose of this video is to highlight the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive His slaves. Now, as we're in the month of Ramadan, as we know that the shayateen are obviously locked up and the doors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah is open. As you are all aware, and it's been, quite heavily reported in connection to the earthquakes that have taken place in Turkey and Syria, and even recently in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and that region. And the believers are also, and they are in need of our support. Let's take this opportunity to support and aid the causes of the believers. The maghfirah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unlimited. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking for opportunities to forgive His servant, to forgive the believers. And charity or sadaqah, or even the zakat that you're due to distribute, most people distribute it in the month of Ramadan, even though you could do it all year round. One of the alamat or signs of acceptance, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted, the ibadat and the adhkar and dua and the salawat, or even the taraweeh, is that one continues on this noble path after it's all finished. And that even applies to Hajj and Umrah. Like when people go to Hajj and Umrah and they continue on the path, that's one of the alamat. We can't say for sure. One of the alamat, one of the signs of acceptance. Now, before presenting a video which will make your heart melt, I want to present a hadith from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, as you can see on screen, we've got a hadith in Sahih Bukhari, as you can see, and he mentions that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is narrated by Abi Hurairah, that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, جعل الله رحمة 100 جزءا فأمسك عنده 99 جزءا. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has basically made rahmah into 100, okay? And He has kept 99 with Him. And then the hadith continues, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وَأَنزَلَ فِي الْأَرْضِ جُزْءًا وَاحِدًا. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down one part of His mercy to the earth. Subhanallah al-Azim, one part. And He says, فَمِن ذَلِكَ الْجُزْءِ, and from one of those particular parts, يَتَرَاحَمُ الْخَلْقُ, that the creation is merciful to each other, to the point that when a horse, raises its hoof over its child in fear of trampling over it, this is one of the mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, coming back to me now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made rahmah 100 parts, 100 juz'un. And He kept 99 with Himself, subhanallah al-azim, and only sent down one of the juz to the earth. Just one. And one of those rahmah that is so vast and encompassing that a horse, because obviously of fear of trampling over a child, obviously keeping his foot or his hoof raised, that's one of the rahmas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, one mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ جُزْءًا, that Allah subhanahu one mercy on the earth, subhanallah al-azim. And one of those is that the khalq have yatarahamu, that they have mercy to each other, to the point that a horse, when he lifts his hoof out of fear of trembling a child, he won't put it down. Subhanallah al-Azim, and I'm paraphrasing. So what I'll do, let's just play a quick video for you.
ويوم وداعنا فجرا وما أقساه من فجر يحار القول في وصف الذي لاقيت من هجري وقلت مقالة لا زلت مدكرا.
So as you saw the video, that a squirrel was thirsty and he was like pleading for water because of, you know, extreme thirst. And subhanallah, the kid, whoever it may be, you know, opened up his bottle and gave the squirrel something to drink to quench his thirst. Allahumma barik. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's heartwarming. Now what I'm going to show you is just sort of connecting it to giving water. Now there's a hadith that's come to mind. I'm quoting on the top of my head, so, you know, forgive me if I've, you know, paraphrased it. But then I think Sa'd ibn Ubada's mum died, and he came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said that Sa'd has died, you know, matat. فَأَيَّ صَدَقَةَ أَفْضَلُ, like which sadaqah is the best? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded by saying al-ma. And then I think the hadith goes for that he dug a bi'r, and then he says this is for Sa'd, meaning that continuous charity. There's another hadith which is connected similar to the action of that young boy, may Allah open his heart to Islam if he's not Muslim, that a prostitute, subhanallah al-azim, a prostitute was forgiven. And why was she forgiven? Subhanallah al-azim. Now the connection is that we're in the month of Ramadan and we've got believers suffering from all over the world, you know, Palestine and Turkey, what's happened with the earthquake, Pakistan and Kashmir and Burma and Iraq and all the other countries where the Muslims are suffering. Even, you know, within the Muslim countries there's poverty, right? Do your best, whatever you can with the wealth that you have, to contribute to their cause and to relieve their suffering. And there's a hadith from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that said, "Man kana fi hajatin akhihi, kana Allah fi hajati," or kama qala an-nabiy sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that whoever comes to the aid of his brother, Allah will come to his aid. Subhanallah al-azim. So let's present the hadith. As you can see on screen, it's got Sahih Bukhari, and this is narrated by Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, and the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that غُفِرَ لِإِمْرَأَةٍ مُمِيسَةٍ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave a prostitute. Why? Because she passed by a dog. Listen to this. She passed by a dog that was panting, okay, that was sticking his tongue out, and basically the dog was almost going to die. So the dog was almost going to die due to thirst. So she took off her socks, she tied it to a khimar, right, and what did it say? فَنَزَعَتْ لَهُ مِنَ الْمَاءِ فَغُفِرَ لَهَا بِذَلِكَ, that she basically took some water out from the well, right, drew some water out, sorry, and because of this action, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave her for this. Subhanallah al-azim. So come back to me now. Look at the magnitude of this great deed. Look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, loved and forgave this prostitute for the mere fact that she was just walking, seeing a dog almost die. She obviously felt, you know, some sympathy for it and empathy. She took off her sock, tied it to a khimar, and placed it down, drew some water up, and gave it to the dog. And because of this action, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَغُفِرَ لَهَا بِذَلِكَ, and because of that action, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave her for it. Now imagine, right, that we provide shelter, food, clothing for, you know, believers. And again, it's not just restricted to the believers. You know, if we could fund causes where there are non-Muslims suffering, we'll be at the forefront with that as well. It's not restricted to just Muslims, but, you know, you do look after your own. That's natural, isn't it? So, subhanallah al-azim. Now, we got a profound statement from Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, rahmatullah alayhi. As you can see on screen. So, as you can see on screen, we got the book, عُدَّةُ الصَّابِرِينَ وَذَخِيرَةُ الشَّاكِرِينَ. And this is by Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, rahmatullah alayhi. And he mentions, وَإِذْ كَانَ اللَّهُ سُبْحَانَهُ قَدْ غُفِرَ لِمَنْ سَقَى كَلْبًا, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave the one who gave water to a dog due to his extreme thirst, and how about the one that gives water to the thirsty and quenches the hunger and clothes the naked from amongst the Muslims? Subhanallah al-azim. Now coming to me now, you see the immense reward at stake. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can forgive a prostitute who gave water to a thirsty dog who was on the verge of death, how about, like Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah rahmatullah alayhi says, about the one that quenches the thirst of a believer and satisfies their hunger and clothes them, because obviously, as you know, with the natural disasters recently, and the issues around the world, in the Muslim world, obviously, as you know, we have a duty of care. We have a duty of care to be responsible and do whatever we can, not foregoing our own responsibilities, by the way. We have to still worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be punctual on our salawat, seek knowledge, and that's important as well. So all the brothers who are in charity, seek knowledge. Give yourself time to learn the book of Allah, to memorize it, to learn Arabic. All these things are important. You got to take care of yourself as well. Charity work is important, 100%. And may Allah reward all you brothers that are, there on the front and taking the time out to leave your families to go give aid to our brothers. But don't neglect your own duties. So it's a short video from me, and I think as we're in the early part of Ramadan, just setting the tone, issuing these reminders, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it from us and make us of those who implement what we propagate. And please make dua for your brother Bro Haji, make dua for the ummah around the world. Subscribe, like and share, and donate to all the noble causes of the believers according to your capability. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate your ranks and place barakah in your wealth and your provisions. So take care of yourselves. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad.
ليس الغريب غريب الشام واليمن إن الغريب غريب اللحد والكفن إن الغريب له حق لغربته على المقيمين في الأوطان والسكن سفر بعيد وزاد لن يبلغني وقوتي ضعفت والموت يطلبني ما أحلم الله عني حيث أمهلني وقد تماديت في ذنبي ويسترني تمر ساعة